Hey, this is Mark Bird from Hammock, and you're listening to The New Scene.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to The New Scene. This is Keith.
And Tommy.
And we're back. That's right, we are back with a brand new episode of the show. Tommy, you are back on the podcast for your annual visit. We have video. How does it feel to be on this podcast with video for the first time?
I had to do my hair, so it took a little bit of extra time to get ready, so, you know.
Well, it's great to have you here. You're broadcasting live from your shower.
Yes.
Tell them about the addition, Tommy. Tell them. We're going to go into more detail and this at the end, but tell the people what's going on.
So basically, my wife was trying to get ready in the only bathroom on the top floor with her and three girls at the same time, roughly the same time in the morning. So my wife and I had this brilliant idea of, well, let's make a master bathroom. And then if we're building there, we might as well build on the other side. So we built a master bathroom and a 13 by 13 walk-in closet.
Yeah, it's really impressive. And even more impressive is the amount of money Tommy shelled out for all of that extra work. It nearly killed him because, as you know, Tommy is always looking for ways to save money. But Tommy, you know what? I understand everything you said about that and many other things. But look, we're going to get to that in a minute. We've got a great show for you this week. We have the return of Mike Taylor, guitar player of Page 99 and Pygmy Lush. Pygmy Lush just released an excellent new LP called TOTEM. It was actually recorded back in 2016, but has finally been released because Pygmy Lush is back. They were on hiatus for a while, but they're back. They just did an excellent NPR Tiny Desk concert, so we discuss all of that. We talk about Page 99 and their recent tour of Europe. And Tommy, you'll be happy to hear this. There's a lengthy Korn discussion during the interview. See, it always circles back to Korn on this show.
Time is a flat circle.
So it's a great conversation, and that's coming up shortly. But first, here's how you can support The New Scene. Rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have a main channel with full video episodes and a clips channel with clips from select episodes. We have shirts for sale at our store at Death Wish Inc. Pick one up. It's a great way to support the show. And you can follow us on social media at New Scene Pod. Also, don't forget to support Iodine Recordings. The Dogs of Hope, a benefit for shelter animals compilation, is out now and streaming everywhere. Vinyl is shipping, and the second press is in the works. It features new or previously unreleased music from Killswitch Engage, Dead Guy, Snapcase, Orange 9mm, and tons more. 100% of net profits from physical and digital sales go directly to the Randolph County Animal Shelter in Wedowee, Alabama, so make sure you pick it up. The Casket Lottery just released a new single and video for their song From Now to Now. That's from their forthcoming LP Feel the Teeth, which will be out August 29th. For more information, head to iodinerecordings.com. Sign up for the newsletter. You'll find out about everything first, and you can follow the label on Instagram at Iodine Recordings. Also, don't forget to support our sponsor for the month of August, Evil Greed. In addition to their online store, Evil Greed offers tour merch handling, and logistics services for tons of bands. They also offer merch and distribution solutions for bands and record labels in Europe and the UK. Evil Greed has a carefully selected roster of artists and labels in their online store. They offer very reasonable worldwide shipping rates specifically to the UK and the USA. Make sure you head to evilgreed.com. Let's see what we've got going on this week. We've got featured merch from Blood Incantation, Brutus, Bell Witch, Gulch. We've got featured music from Fleshwater. They have a new LP coming out called 2000, In Search of the Endless Sky. That's up for pre-order. We've got Flesh Stays Together. That's the new LP from Dying Wish. That's up for pre-order. We've got a new LP from Restraining Order called Future Fortune. That's up for pre-order. Let's check out some Evil Greed exclusives. The new LP from Der Weg Einar Freiheit called Inern. There's an LP and t-shirt bundle available. We've got a 12-inch from Sanction, The Infringement of God's Plan. The new LP from Scowl, Are We All Angels? That's available from Evil Greed. We've got a split LP from Pain of Truth and Tsunami. Have a Nice Life, The Voids 2X LP. That's marked down from €34.99 to €24.99. You've got to pick that up. And we've got other exclusives from Magnitude, Bell Witch, Incendiary, Chat Pile. Evil Greed has it all. For more information, head to evilgreed.com, sign up for the newsletter, and you can follow them on Instagram at evil_greed. Okay, so check back in with me and Tommy at the end of the show. We'll do a recap of the conversation with Mike. And Tommy and I have a lot to catch up on because it's been a year since he's been back to the show. But right now, we are going to speak to Mike Taylor of Page 99 and Pygmy Lush. Enjoy. All right, we are here now with Mike Taylor. Mike, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be back.
Yes, it's good to have you here, Mike. I was just talking to you earlier. It's been 2 years, about 2 years since you've been on the show last. I thought it was longer for some reason, but it's been 2 years.
Yeah, as I was mentioning, I keep listening to your podcast, so I feel like you've always been there the last 2 years. But yeah, 2 years, I would have guessed maybe a little bit longer too.
Yeah, well, it's great to have you back. Let me ask you, how are you doing today?
I'm good today. Just did this kind of same old. Went to work, got home, had some food, got ready to chat with you. But I've been good. Yeah, I've been busy with a lot of band stuff, which is definitely good.
Yeah, that's. Here's a question I've been thinking about today because I've been thinking like kind of broadly. Are you generally happy in life? I'm talking like day-to-day life. Like, are you pretty happy? Are you pretty content most of the time?
Yeah, I would say I have a happy day to day, or a happy demeanor day to day, or at least like an upbeat demeanor. I wouldn't say happy necessarily. The world's definitely pretty messed up right now. I think everybody knows that. So it's heavy, but yeah, I'm good. Sometimes being so busy with all the band stuff can come with its stresses and stuff. So I just try to stay on top of it. It's kind of funny because in that regard, while I tend to overextend myself, I also love the work and love the challenges. So I guess maybe sometimes I take on a lot, and probably should be a little more selective.
Yeah, that I like to stay constantly busy. It's also a good distraction from the everyday troubles of normal life or all the trouble going on in our country. Like, I've been reading more news, and if I go down that wormhole, I can get really depressed and really nervous about the future state of our country, which doesn't seem great. However, I like to counterbalance that with the many creative things I'm involved with. So stresses for me will be like, hey, I'm trying to book these shows this weekend. Can I do it? Will I be able to do it? Will anyone reply to me? Will I ever get to a point where I can get the things done that I need to get done in this band? So that can be very stressful. But generally, if I'm doing creative stuff, I'm happy. How about you? Like, what kind of band logistical challenges do you have?
Well, just a lot of booking and stuff like that too. So yeah, like with both Pygmy Lush and Page 99, I pretty much book both bands. But people are excited to do it. So it's like once it gets into my into my queue or whatever, once it becomes like something I have to do and stay on top of, it's really just me staying organized that needs to happen because I like to do it, it's like, and I also like, I've definitely debated could Page 99 do like a manager or a booking agent? And I think we know some good people that would definitely be willing to help. And, and it would be different than just your, stereotypical manager or booking agent or whatever. Be people we know and trust and probably allow us to do the things that we want. But it's just like, I've just been doing it for so long and it's still easy. But the more you take on, it's just, while it's work that is like rewarding and kind of simple to a certain degree, the more volume you take on, the harder it gets. So I guess it's kind of funny. I've wanted, there was a period of time where I just wasn't playing too much. And then now I'm in two bands, Page 99 essentially back from the dead, and Pygmy Lush is active again after a long hibernation. So it's like now both these bands are active, and I'm really happy about that. It's just a lot to maintain.
Right. Would you want to, we talked about this a little bit last time you were here. Would you want a booking agent or a manager if it was someone you trusted and someone that could help you? Because I'm like you, I like to do everything. But in my mind, if I've been doing everything as long as you, it might be harder to transfer that to somebody else. And also, is the manager going to be putting in as much effort as you would?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, like I've heard people say, if you can do something perfectly fine yourself or even good, then why give the work to somebody else? I mean, at the same time, I'm kind of getting that why, actually, because, I've also taken on, and I think and you're aware that me and Paul from Persistent Vision have taken on a festival, and we're heading into our second festival this year. Punk hardcore thing, and that's actually that's motivated me a lot to do better. Actually, I think part of the stress now for me in regards to like staying on top of the booking is knowing that I can do it better and finding my flaws and just wanting to be more professional about it. Really, that's kind of the big thing, and that's kind of the thing we've been doing it for so long. It's like, and I've kind of done it more as like, this is a love thing. This is a labor of love. This is my passion. It's never been a job, but I do want to approach it with a sense of professionalism. But I do think if I'm so busy and overextended, there are people out there I think I could trust, and it would be a matter of like knowing that person and knowing, how we work. Like we don't necessarily operate with a guarantee. We understand that not all shows are the exact same. Not every city is the exact same. There are a lot of variables to every time you go out and play music. And I'm not this staunch, like we need this kind of money. Plus, like Page 99 and both Pygmy Lush still want to, we want to be involved in benefits still, where we are able to, share or give a good amount of money to different benefits we care about, different mutual aid groups and stuff like that.
Right. The fest you mentioned, that's Dark Days, Bright Nights, right?
Yes, sir.
So this is the second year it's been going on?
Yeah, second year. Paul, it kind of was Paul's idea, and he kind of really wanted it to be related to the label, I think, at first. And then for a while, when Paul and I started working on Page 99 reissues, we had just enjoyed working together quite a bit. So we were trying to find different ways we can collaborate on new projects. And he approached me about tinkering with the idea of a festival, kind of related mostly to Persistent Vision bands. But then last year it just kind of went from 2 days to 3 days. And then we just like, oh my God, we got this band. And then I think we're both just kind of now like totally taken by, reaching out to some of our favorite newer bands or bands that were from the past, and really just putting together like an amazing show, and really now trying to work on pushing like the community vibe and having to have a DIY feel, but really community based, where like a lot of these bands know each other, or they're in the same circle, but they haven't met yet, but maybe they meet for the first time at our show or something, or our fest. So it was great last year. It went off without a hitch. And this year we're super, super excited about it. It's at the end of September 25th to the 27th. Maybe it's actually 26th to the 28th. I have so many dates in my head. But yeah, we got a good one this year. I mean, some reformed groups like Dazzling Killman and Sleepy Time Trio and Versal Man. And then like Ultra Dolphins, which is, they haven't played in a good amount. And then newer bands like Stress Positions and Slow Hole and I Flies, Great Falls, Uniform, a lot of current bands too.
Yeah, I saw the lineup this year and saw that there's a Sleepy Time Trio reunion, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh no, I think I'm going to miss it. But hopefully they'll play again somewhere, somehow, and I'll see them. But yeah, it's a great fest, a great lineup, and Persistent Vision is a great label too. I've gotten to know them better because they've sponsored the podcast a bunch of times, and just great aesthetics, great bands. I really like everything they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, I think Paul's doing a great job with the label, and I love a lot of the band, or excuse me, all the bands he's working with. So I mean, we're really excited to still be working with Page 90, starting with Page 99, and now with the new Pygmy Lush. We're excited.
Page 99 was not together for was there like a big gap between the 2011 reunion and then you started playing again in 2017?
Yeah, yep. Yeah, exactly. We did 2 shows in 2011, and then we didn't play again till 2017.
So what happened? Was it were you just busy with Pygmy Lush, and then I know Pygmy Lush went on hiatus because Andy had kids, and then Page 99 stuff popped up again, right? Was that kind of what happened?
Yeah, I mean, two of our guys in Pygmy Lush, Mike and Andy, both had kids. Or just kind of raising a family. But they were pretty committed the whole time. It just kind of got harder to do. So Pygmy Lush stopped playing at 2016, right after we recorded that album. We essentially kind of like stalled a little bit so Andy and his partner, Aaron, were both doing the band, and they were, they have kids together. So between that, the two of them, and then Mike also raising a family and stuff, I think that really, and like, it was tricky, but we were very deliberate and calculated with our practices and our, shows and everything. So Aaron had basically made the decision after we recorded the record to kind of bow out more or less, because she had some other bands going on. And at the time, the only band Andy was doing was Pygmy Lush. So she's like, you do Pygmy Lush. And she just thought, I think that collectively they thought it would be easier, and they each had bands to work on. And when she did that, it's like, we're like, okay, well, we'll take some time and regroup. And then when we took that time, we just never really got going again. And yeah, I think a little bit of it, or some of it, had to do with, at that time, Page 99 had just started stewing on playing again. So as like Pygmy Lush was taking some time, Page 99 got really busy. And
how did the Page 99 fires get stoked again?
Yeah. I mean, that was just, we, after that 2011 thing, we always said we wanted to do it again, but it was a lot more difficult back then because we had George, who lived in San Francisco. I think Blake was living in Austin. Brandon was in New York. So everybody was spread out a lot of us were spread out far, and it just made it really hard. So we kept it open. It was an open book after the 2011. We're like, well, when we can, we'll do it again. And then that opportunity just didn't really present itself till 2017 when we did. We very deliberately decided, let's start playing again. And we wanted them to be the Benefits, which we did do. And we did it with Majority Rule, which also kind of encouraged us to, let's do it. I think we can make some good out of this, and it'll be amazing to be around each other again and play this music. So, and then, from there, one of the biggest things for us is we just really liked being around each other. So we just wanted to keep doing it. And it was very special to us and motivating to do the Benefits. And then we did do a West Coast 2019 all beneficiary tour as well. Like maybe 10 days, 10 days, also with Majority Rule and Portrayal of Guilt on that one.
You just recently did a European tour, right?
Yes. Yeah.
How did that go?
I think it was incredible. I honestly think, and I think a lot of us feel this way, I think I might say that's the best tour I've ever been on.
That's great because the original first Page 99 European tour, one of the reasons the band ended, right?
Yeah, we had a difficult run in Europe that in summer 2002. Yeah.
Yeah. So to now, all these years later, do that big tour of Europe and have it be the best tour ever, that's got to be great, right?
Yeah, it feels really, I mean, honestly, it feels redemptive. We got a chance to go out there and be ourselves and like sound the way we should sound. And it was well curated. I mean, we worked with Swamp Booking for it, and they did a really good job. Alex and Ricky kind of really had our backs, and then we just it was a lot of work, and we had to do 2 vans and a ton of equipment, but like it was all worth it. Like I think that was the only way to do it. And I think, we actually, it's funny because we had to split into 2 vans. And I really think that helped keep the peace in a way, not so much of with the personalities, more so with like just the comfort level of us not all being squeezed in, but just have, there was like 4 or 5 of us in each van. So there was like plenty of space for us to like just relax and just do it. And then we would swap vans and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think those little comfort things go a long way. Like if I could afford to have my own hotel room every night on a tour, I would be really happy, because I just like to have my own space and not be cramped in with a bunch of other people. And I don't know. Well, I'm sure everybody would like that, but also on page 99, there's like what, 8 people, so
there's
space is a
9
premium.
now, so yeah.
Yeah.
We had 10 because we had 1 driver, and then George drove the second van. So, and I will say, like, we were stayed in hotels or hostels every night. That we were like, and that was nice. I think that was kind of clutch because we're older now. We're all in our mid to late 40s, and like each getting in a bed just makes a difference. Because I mean, we were just still same bit. You finish a show by noon, you're maybe at the hotel not noon. You finish the show at midnight or something, you're at the hotel by like 1 or 1:30, and then you're kind of up and at it again, somewhere in the 8 to 10 o'clock hour. So it's good to get some like, be grown ass adults and touring and getting sleep and eating food. It was nice. This was a really good tour.
I love that. Yeah. And touring is so much fun still for me in the limited times I can do it. Even though I'm 43 now, I can still sleep on a floor and be happy. I can still sleep in a van and be happy. As long as I get up and get to the show next day and get to be out there playing, I can put myself through a lot of situations I would not normally want to be in.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the name of the game. I mean, and one of the other reasons why Page 99 in particular will stay at like hotels or has recently is because there's so many of us, and not everybody can really accommodate 9 people. But I mean, we've done our time in the, the garage floor and the cement this and that and the van, and, it's exhausting. So if I can find better sleeping accommodations, I'll go for it. But, I still would sleep on floors to make it happen. And then we do still sometimes too, as well. It's just, wouldn't, depending on what band it is. And, it's, a band like Pygmy Lush with just 5 of us is a lot easier to hole up in a friend's house and, catch the floor or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, it happened to be that's just what Swamp does. They hook you up. It's what we want. We thought that's how it would work and be best. And yeah, I mean, yeah, it was very good.
How's the reception over there for Page 99? Like screamo, to use as a broader term, seems like it's having a bit of a revival. But I guess everything does these days. It just seems like everybody's picking up on everything and things just pop off. But how were those shows over there in Europe? I mean, it had been a long time since you've been over there.
Yeah, they were honestly, Keith, they were great. I mean, the reactions were insane. It's, it is crazy to me to feel like that Page 99's involved in like something that seems so like trending or whatever right now. Like screamo is really popular right now. Like I could tell you it was never popular back in that day. And all the shows, but just a couple were sold out. So we were having really great responses. People are great. They get it. A lot of kids moving and jumping up and down and loving it. So it did feel really good. It felt, it felt like we were making a connection. Every show, it just felt like, I mean, that's the thing. Since we've been back together, it's kind of come in waves. So now it seems like Page 99 is just like popular, getting more popular, like a new band again. Like more and more people are coming to see us. And the thing that's very different than it was many years ago was the age of the people that coming out to the shows now are significantly younger, like teenagers to like early 20s, a lot. We see people getting dropped off in big groups from their parents and stuff like that. I mean, that's just so cool. So, I mean, like, it's just so different. And they're all up front and they're all bopping up down. They buy the t-shirts and they wear them right there. I mean, so it's like different, but very real. And like, it moves us and pushes us to be the, the best band or the best version of Page 99 we can be, because, we don't want to sell, any of these young kids short when we're out there doing it. And, I think there's a reciprocal thing that, we appreciate that they, that they're energetic and give us that energy. And then in return, we can do it back. So it is the symbiotic relationship between, audience and band is kind of there, bridging the gap. And it's like, just, it's one whole thing.
Yeah, that I like that there's more exposure in general, because there's been times where I went to shows and I'm like, oh, it's just going to be a bunch of old dudes at the show. But then you see a bunch of young people there and you see a more diverse crowd. And I'm like, yes, this is great. And it seems like that's happening more and more at a lot of shows I'm going to. And I love it.
Yeah, me too. It seems like punk is definitely doing more of its, like what I thought it was when I got into it. Now there's so many more trans folks and queer folks and, and black and brown representation more than ever before. And that's like absolutely heartwarming. It makes you, and it's, we're 9 cis white males, so we're just up there doing it. It feels good. I mean, I've always said it. I say it when I post, on our, on social media and stuff. I always say and appreciate that people kind of are inviting and including Page 99 back into the fold, because it's an amazing scene. It's better than it used to be. I mean, like, the audiences and the crowds are just a lot more receptive, a lot more diverse. It's just, it's really cool, really different and unique.
Yeah. Oh, and last time you were on, you mentioned Orchid. You said you were trying to get them to come back and get on a show. And I see you wearing the shirt. That reunion happened since we last spoke.
Yeah, finally did. I mean, I was always trying to get them to play with but I think I like what they did. They were inviting a lot of old friends to play and a lot of like unique bands, same with us. Like, we've invited a lot of old friends and then newer bands. So I think they did a really good job, like, with their East Coast and West Coast shows. And I did get a chance to see them. Me and a couple of the other 99 guys went and saw them in Philly, actually, at the,
oh, nice.
I can't remember where it was, but it was the Heroes Collective played, and it was a great show. They killed it. They sounded great.
Yeah. If you have, when Refused got back together, Dennis called it their victory lap. So if you're a band that has that collateral built up and you can go on your victory lap, you have to. I mean, why not?
Yeah, no, I mean, do it and maybe use it for the better of other people other than yourself too. I like that, but also I don't front for people, I would say, like, it's funny because like Orchid was selling out shows, venues, 1,200, 1,500 capacity with just their name before any other openers. So, when it comes to like the money a band deserves and has earned over time, especially somebody like Will, who's just been involved in the hardcore scene for so long and putting out and everything, like a band like that deserves to come back and make the money that it's worth, for lack of a better, word, I guess.
Right. And invite some friends out, it's a good all around thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It was cool. I was really happy to see them and happy for them. And I don't know if they're going to play anymore or not, but we were out there in Europe and people were just definitely like, we're open for Orchid next, but right now Seisha's over there and No Man's over there. So like, and then City of Caterpillar is going to be over there later in the fall. So, a lot of those bands are making their way over there this year, it seems.
Yeah. How about future plans for Page 99? Are we thinking new music? Are we thinking more shows? Is there anything you can share?
Yeah, we do have a couple shows announced. We have one. The next show is with Dead Guy, actually, in Richmond, at the Warehouse, and we're obviously stoked about that. Just because Dead Guy was a huge influence on our band early on, and Corey and I would go and see them. We saw them a couple times. Once with the lineup, with the Fixation lineup and their current lineup, and then another time with their more noisy, like post Tim Singer and Keith Huckins lineup, which was also really good. So we're excited about that. I've wanted to like share a show or book them forever. And then it just so happened that we got invited to play. A friend of ours is setting up the show. Mikey, who plays in Private Hell, is setting it up. And it's funny because we actually had them booked for Dark Days, Bright Nights this year, but they had some scheduling issues with the date, so they weren't able to do it. So then, oddly enough, they're coming into Richmond like a month earlier, and we're definitely stoked. And then we're playing with one of my all-time favorite bands, who's reuniting this year for the first time, Dazzling Killman. And Nick Sakes is a friend and a guitar hero of mine, and that band is like single-handedly had a huge influence on Page 99's music. I cite them all the time for people. It's like them and Born Again. So, I was like, yeah, I mean, if you listen to a couple of songs on Document 5, you can see that there's a lot of Dazzling Killman, particular on their Basic Collapse album. So playing with them has been amazing. So it's funny because I've been working with them. So part of me doing some booking is I've been helping them book all their reunion shows. So that's been a lot of work. That's part of the booking and all of me overextending myself. But it's like one of my favorite bands of all time. So I can't say no. I want them to be in the right hands and playing with the right bands because I know people really care about. There's a lot of people that care about that band. I know people have said they're your favorite band's favorite band, and that's just so true. Like, if you check their Wikipedia out, it's like quotes. It's like, oh, Dillinger and Coalesce and all these bands are just influenced by Dazzling Killman. But I don't think a lot of people know who they are, like, in the modern day. So I'm excited that they're playing, the Dark Days Fest, and Page 99's playing with them in Baltimore, like I said. So we're playing that show with them, and then they have some other shows. And then we're playing later in the year with Kylesa, who's also old friends of ours as well. So we're really excited to get to see them again. And we do have one more show. I'm sure by the time this is out, it'll be okay. But we are going to play with Majority Rule. Majority Rule's doing a one-off. We're doing a big benefit show in DC in October with a lot of other cooler bands, and Page 99 and Majority Rule will be two of the bands for sure playing. And so those are the only 4 shows. But yes, we do have new music that we want to work on. We haven't gotten back together since coming home from Europe, but the plan is to write new music and hopefully a release or something. We don't know. I mean, we all really want to. I've been messing with some stuff. I have some stuff I really like. But yeah, if we're going to keep doing it, I feel like we actually have to entertain ourselves too. I mean, new music will motivate us and really want us to get out, make us want to get out there and do it. And we're looking forward to that.
Nice. Well, we do have Totem, which is the new Pygmy Lush LP. Now, when we last left off, this was the 2016 LP that you recorded with Kurt Ballou, and it had not come out. It was still sitting on the shelf. Pygmy Lush was still inactive, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So how do we circle back around? How do we get active again? How does this record start to come out? Tell us.
let me see. So, I mean, I think like, honestly, what I think happened was when Paul and I were working on the first Dark Days, Bright Nights Fest. At the time, Pygmy Lush had talked about wanting to play. Like, we just need this year. This needs to be the year we like book ourselves a show just to kind of like, knock the dust off a little bit or whatever. So Paul officially asked me if I would ask Pygmy Lush. And I was like, oh, this is like a good, this is like, and it's like partly my fest. So I kind of want, Page 99 and Pygmy Lush played last year. So I was like, this is a great way to kind of, for Pygmy Lush to come back among friends and familiars and, do something that I'm like putting my all into. And I know that a first Pygmy Lush show in 7 or 8 years will, help, bring some folks out. So we committed to that. And that's really what got the ball moving and got the juices flowing. And then literally like not too long after that, like Tiny Desk, Lars, who helps produce Tiny Desk, reached out to us asking if we would want to play Tiny Desk. And we were like, couldn't say no to that. But that was right around the corner from, it was like something we had to agree to fast and we hadn't played yet. So we were like, okay, we need to really start practicing. So really the first thing we started playing and getting ready for again was the Tiny Desk concert, which was interesting because we were definitely being mindful of playing the more hushed, even the more quieter pieces of Pygmy Lush's material, because there's some stuff that's a little bit louder and a little more electric. So we played, when we got ready for that, we played all clean. We weren't using the PA. We were trying to manipulate our surroundings to kind of fit what Tiny Desk was going to be. So, it's like all acoustic, real hushed like drums. And also we wanted a May to join us, a May who does the Zark. And yeah, and they decided to join us, and that was incredible. And that ended up being an amazing experience. And that really jolted Pygmy Lush forward a little bit and made us really excited for the Dark Days Fest. And then once people saw that we were kind of active again, we started kind of hearing from people. And then we agreed to do like Roadburn kind of way off in the future. And yeah, I mean, we've since played a couple more shows and we've still not done that much, but our plan now. So we were like, okay, let's release this stuff too. So that also, those shows also jarred the record loose. So I used to say like either it's going to be us putting the record out that finally gets us to play again, or us playing again that finally gets that record out. And so I think it was us playing again that finally like knocked the record loose a little bit. So that's also something we've taken on in addition to like playing and writing. And we're really excited about, funny enough, this record's old. So we're like working on new stuff. So, I mean, we all hope to have like new material in a year or so. I mean, as soon as possible, but maybe recording soon. So we're just really excited about the record coming out, excited to be a band again, excited to create. And, this band really gels well musically together. So the sky is the limit for us, I feel like.
Yeah. Where does Tiny Desk record? Where do you do the actual performance at?
It's in DC at their headquarters. And funny enough, it is in a little office area. There are literally cubicles all around, and it is a functioning office, but on the days they record the bands, it's pretty empty, but they will have somebody work in the front office of the room. And yeah, I mean, that was another incredible experience, Keith. Like those folks over at Tiny Desk, their hospitality was through the roof, and it was cool. I mean, it was also, you get to invite some people and they invite some people, and there ended up being 50 or 60 people there watching. So it was kind of unofficially our first show back. So it was kind of nerve wracking to play something like Tiny Desk as our first show in 7 years, but yeah, they record it there, and they're just incredible. I've never done anything like that where, you literally just run through the whole, they want you to run through the whole set to get the idea of the sound. And then once you're ready for it, then they have you do it for real. And then, it's kind of crazy.
How long does the whole thing take?
We were there for like a half a day. Like we got there early in the morning with maybe 2 hours set up. Then the show. I mean, really, it's just like kind of the morning. I can't remember exactly when we got there, maybe 9, but we were done by 2 or something like that. You're there kind of with about 2 hours set up, you load in and then it's quick because there's just not a lot to it. They're just really setting up their in-house studio, which at this point they know what they're doing. And, they just they have you play and run through stuff. You can play as much as you want and then they'll ask you to, they just don't interfere. They just kind of set up their stuff while you're playing. And, it's very unintrusive, honestly. And then they just kind of give you the rundown of what it's going to be like. And it's just a quick affair. I think we played for like 25 minutes or 22 minutes. It was short. So they really only want you to play 4 or 5 songs, 3 or 4. And after that, they don't kick you out or nothing like fast, but it's just, everybody leaves and then you're there lingering in our case. But it was cool. It was a really cool experience.
With things like that or Audio Tree, I always wonder, like, what if you really mess up? Like, could you do another take? Would they let you restart the song?
They said you could do that. Yeah. They said they can edit it and, but we just, once we started, that was that, like for us, it was just, and Pygmy Lush is like, the one thing I will say is Pygmy Lush is sort of like perfect for a thing like Tiny Desk, because Pygmy Lush, all of the albums that we've recorded, every single album we've released has been live. We track everything live in the same room. So drums, guitars, bass. We just do the vocals separate and some overdubs. So we're like a confident live band, and the quiet stuff's it's a little nerve wracking because if you mess up, it's easy to hide behind a wall of distortion, but it's a little more nerve wracking to play so quiet and clean and clear. It's just like very vulnerable behind the guitar. If you mess up, people can hear you. I messed up during Tiny Desk too. Make no mistake, I messed up, but you can't really hear it. But if you can, like, that's why I think they do it. It's like a unique show unto itself. As long as if you like really whiff it, I think they'd let you go again. But we had nerves, but I think that I feel like we did well.
Definitely. It was great. Yeah. Did you see a big jump after that? Do you see monthly plays go up or follower count go up or anything like that? Does it give you a lot of exposure?
No, I just, I don't know. I've seen it more since we like announced the new album and we released the song. So I've kind of been paying attention to that recently because it's the first like new song in like 12 years or something. Like our last album was Old Friends in 2010 or 2011. So I was just interested. I wasn't even paying attention or on Spotify or any like, streaming service then. So for me, it's interesting to see how a new Pygmy Lush song out in the world does. And it seems like people are digging it. I know one of the variants is sold out and another one's almost sold out. So the record's already done pretty well in pre-sales. So, I think people are excited for it and we're excited for it. I hope people are excited for it. But as far as the Tiny Desk stuff, yeah, maybe. I think we did get a bunch. Chris kind of oversees the Pygmy Lush Instagram, so I think we did see a lot more followers for sure. We also, I think there's some people we're not really the kind of band that would like. There are bands out there, I think, and deservedly so, because Tiny Desk is super cool, but we're also not very advantageous on like capitalizing on like hit it while it's hot, and then we just put it up there, and people seem to care about it. I will say, in one regard, the thing I think I've noticed is more people coming to the live shows. Like, a lot more people are showing up to our shows than before we stopped playing. A lot, so I think that has to have made a difference, because, they have a lot of reach and it's out in the ether, and a lot of people check that out. And yeah, so I mean, and it's cool. I mean, they're doing a lot of really cool stuff. Like, they had Devo on there and Soul Glow, and there's just that, not to mention all the other crazy stuff they've had on there. That's great. But, Lars over there at NPR is doing some wild things. He's definitely trying to get some crazy, weird bands on there.
Yeah, whoever's putting it together seems to have pretty good taste, so that's cool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So the new LP, Totem, I'm definitely looking forward to hearing it. I love the new single. It's I can't wait to hear the rest of it. So originally recorded in 2016 with Kurt Ballou at God City.
Yeah. When it's kind of funny. So we lost, this album's interesting in a way because Johnny quit the band in 2012, shortly after release of Old Friends, and he had been in the band the whole time. And he's definitely one of the main songwriters, and he sings some songs and sings backups too, and other things. So he was a really important part of Pygmy Lush. So when we lost him, we were like, we got to figure out a way. We got to like rediscover ourselves. So I think one of the things we decided to do then was pull the brakes on the quieter, prettier material. And we're like, well, let's write some savage, crazy, abrasive music. And that's what we set out to do when we lost Johnny. And then actually, the other thing is at the time we had Eric, who played on Old Friends, and he also left the band. So the band at that time was left with me, my brother, and Mike Widman. And we were like, I at the time was playing in a band called Hey Girl with Aaron and Andy. And that was just like a guitar driven, like Kill Rock Stars, K Records style, like Godhead Silo Cart type of thing. So we were like trying to do, like some like heavy guitar rock. So I enjoyed playing with them. And then right before Pygmy Lush stopped playing with that lineup, Chris had joined the band to play bass. So at that point, it was just like it was like we were playing with Aaron and Andy, my brother and I. So when we started talking about members, we were like, well, let's get Aaron and Andy to join Pygmy Lush, and that way we have a new bass player and Andy can play drums. And so that's how that version of this band of Pygmy Lush started, which is the band on Totem. So Andy plays drums, Aaron plays bass, and she does vocals a good bit on the album. Me and Mike play guitar, and Chris actually plays a lot of bass on there and vocals as well. So we set out to do a lot of loud, kind of noise rock, grungy punk, whatever it wanted to be, it could be. And so I mean, so we were liked what we had going, and we booked the time for Kurt. So we'd been working on that material maybe since maybe 3 years or so together. So, it started off kind of slow. So in 2013, we started writing all that loud stuff. So really, some of these songs are even older than, they're old. They're like, some of them I had even written like in 2010 or something. So, it's music that I've just wanted people to hear for a long time, because it's just, we wrote it so long ago. And something for me anyways, I can't speak on behalf of all of the band, but for me, I feel like closing this chapter on this part of the band was important in moving forward. So, I mean, we went back to Kurt. I mean, we had an excellent session. I think it's the best sounding Pygmy Lush record. The material can be up for everybody's, own opinion, but in my opinion, it's the longest we spent with Kurt. So we got some good mixing time, and it just sounds really nice. It's mixed well, and I love the material.
Yeah, the new single. Wait, what's the name of the single that just came out?
The new single, the brand new single a couple weeks ago, is called "It Wasn't a Compliment," and I think in parentheses, Marshall Law Blues. And then the one before it was called February Song, and it was a little bit prettier. And then the second song was a little bit like nastier and grungier.
February Song, that's the one I heard. What
Yeah.
guitar are you using on that? What amps are you using? I love that. It's like this clean, dreary, slightly heavy sound that I love.
You know what? It's funny because when we just trust Kurt was so much. I mean, we've, like I said, every Pygmy Lush album has been recorded with Kurt since 2005. So we just go up there with our instruments and our pedals, and we try out a bunch of. I can't remember. I might have been playing one of his Bad Cat amps, which we've used in the past for the loud stuff. And I just really like it because it's really driven, clean tone, I think. And I don't know. And then I did use for that song, like, at least when in the chorus, there's some distortion pedals. And I think I was using like maybe a Death by Audio pedal for some grungy sounding, nasty fuzz. But yeah, I mean, it's like, it is kind of darker. That song in particular is like a tune that I had wanted for Pygmy Lush so long ago when we were still working on Quiet stuff. So it's interesting and cool that it made its way into this louder material where it had a chance almost to be like quiet and loud. And, I think it's a pretty song, but it also gets heavy. And I think this record has a little bit of that theme to it. So it's completely different than the Pygmy Lush people know, I think.
Did you want to put out the record like soon after it was done recording? Did you ever think about that?
Yeah. We wanted to put it out, and we had worked on it. We had worked on it a bit. We had a lot of mastering. We were like working hard on mastering it. And then just kind of, again, it's like one of those things where it stalled and we hit a wall. I think overall, when I look back on it in retrospective, like, I think trying to motivate a release of a currently inactive band just didn't really it didn't drive us too much. So I think one of the things, the mastering work started getting tedious. Chris and I in particular were being pretty detail oriented on it. And I think we were just wearing thin on it. So we just, shelved it a little bit, and like, oh, we'll get back to this. Never really intending it to be so long. I think we always kind of wanted it to be out a long time ago. But I do think what had happened is, like, there was that year where after we recorded and Page 99 was playing, where we thought we'd just pick that back up, but it didn't happen. And then Page 99 kind of, got going not even too much longer after our initial 2017 group of shows to do some in 2019. So it wasn't a lot of time between that for us to even, grease the wheels or grease the gears or something, so it's like, yeah, we wanted it out a lot sooner. In some ways, I love that it's coming out now because it seems kind of more, I don't know. It's funny because I feel like a lot of 90s music is sort of catching right now. Like, take a band like Chat Pile who references like Korn or something. And you can hear some of that. And I have never liked Korn personally. But I find myself with everybody's influence, like Portrayal of Guilt. I've even talked to Matt from Portrayal about this because I don't like Korn. And some of the 99 guys do. Like Corey, I know, loves Korn. But like I've said, like, since these bands I love, like Chat Pile or like Portrayal Guild, are referencing like, like new metal, I'm like, okay, I'll go back and give this a chance. So I've even gone back recently and taken in Korn and stuff. So anyways, like, it's kind of funny because I just like find that a lot of 90s, like, people are referencing the 90s quite a bit. And I feel like this record essentially has a little bit of a 90s feel to it because, like, honestly, we are all in our 40s and we grew up with like stuff like Sonic Youth and Mudhoney and Melvins on the radio and Nirvana and everything. So like there's a lot of reference points to like noise rock and grunge, like Jesus Lizard. And there's definitely some Jesus Lizard feel there, some Sonic Youthy stuff. And then, just kind of our own brand of weirdo. So yeah, I mean, I think it seems like it fits today a little bit more than it might have, like, 8 years ago.
That's a great point. Yeah, there's a lot of 90s theme. There's a lot of 90s influence stuff happening, and I love it because I love that music. I love the way different people incorporate it into different things. You have these heavier shoegaze bands that are incorporating a 90s sound. You have these heavier post-hardcore bands that are incorporating a 90s sound. I love it. And the thing with Korn, I was into nu metal right when it was really popping off, but then I got into hardcore, and I like dropped everything else for a long time. And then there was a period where like, nu metal was mocked and everyone hated it. Now it's circled back around and everyone kind of likes everything. So I've gone back and listened to some Korn, and here's my verdict. When they're heavy, they're awesome. But Life is Peachy. I went back and listened to that, and the verses get so quiet. Like they're just so quiet. And then the chorus picks back up and it gets heavy. And I'm like, no, just stay heavy. Like I just want you to stay heavy. When they're heavy, I like them. When they stay heavy, I like them.
Yeah, and I'll say like one of the things with me, like it's Corey, because Corey and I used to always hang out, and he so my gateway before I was all Nirvana and grunge before getting into Born Against and Rorschach and punk, and then I had to come back to other stuff as I got older. So I was kind of already past where I would have been taken by a band like Korn, but I literally did give all of their first album a listen a few months ago. It's excellent, honestly.
That first one is
it
great.
Sounds really good.
Yeah.
It's still not my thing, but I understand it now more than I used to. And the thing I have always said about them is that I think they did something utterly unique and unto themselves and essentially brought in a genre. I mean, I know there's a lot of other bands that, you could kind of cite some early Alice in Chains and stuff, and you could kind of see where Korn happens. But the way Korn did whatever they did uniquely themselves, and it's funny, this is for me talking about Korn because I used to hate them, but now I totally respect them. And like I said, who I really hated was Limp Bizkit, and I've even given Limp Bizkit a listen because I don't know how, but that band's back in vogue too. But you know what? I'm not here to hate on anything, but I will just say I'm trying to keep an open mind, and I love the modern references to that music is incredible. It's exactly how music should be. Go ahead and reference things from him. It's like what we were doing. I mean, we reference, Nirvana and the Jesus Lizard and Sonic Youth all over the place. So, and we put it in our own brand. Some people might be like, oh, I can kind of hear it, but it doesn't sound like it. So I like, they might not even like Nirvana, but they're like, I kind of like this application of Nirvana. That's how I feel with Korn. I find myself, particularly say Chat Pile or some of the really heavy portrayal of guilt breakdown. I'm like, that's Korn. I was like, but I love this, but not Korn.
Right.
Stuff like that.
Right. I don't listen to a ton of Korn these days, but I can respect it now. But then I remember putting on Disembodied, and someone was like, oh, this sounds like Korn. And I was like, huh.
I can see that.
I never thought of that before, but yeah, you're right. So I see what you're saying about the offshoot thing. I might like some of the offshoot stuff more.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we have Totem coming out. We're excited about that. Yeah. Was it hard to sit on the record for that long? I mean, it's been almost 10 years. Did you think about it? Did you ever go oh man, guys, we got to put this out? It's just sitting there, or were you just busy with other stuff?
I would say busy with other stuff mostly, but there would be moments where Chris and I would talk about it, and we'd sort of if I'm being candid about it, Chris and I, there are a couple songs we just wanted, he wanted off and I wanted off, or I wanted on, he wanted off. We just wanted to change the sequence a little bit. We liked everything, but Chris's things, he just didn't think it fit on the album proper. But I think, we found middle ground recently. So I think after all these years returning to it, I think it really helped us being away from it for a long time. One of the things Pygmy Lush did in the very beginning when we started the band, because in a lot of ways I don't really regret anything, but if I do it over again, I might do it different. As far as with Page 99, I wouldn't have gone right when we hit our first snag, I wouldn't have eagerly broke up the band. Like it broke up. I think it broke up kind of emotionally many years ago. And I'm like, I don't know why, because we're all still friends and we all still play music. And I would have just let that band rest a little bit. So one of the things that Pygmy Lush learned from that Page 99 is like, hey, listen, we love each other. We've known each other for a long time. If this band ever gets to the point where it needs some time, we're going to give it a lot of time. We're giving it time. We're going to give it space, and we're going to come to it when all the members are ready to do it. And that's exactly what we did. And I think leaving that record for a while, I think leaving that record was really healthy for us to approach it again. And one of the things I know that really helped Chris and I get really, really excited about it. I think the rest of the guys have always just been eager for the record to come out, but feel like, oh, it'll release whenever. I think more so we wanted to get together and play rather than release the record. So when it came time to do the record, the art and working up through the art was one of the most inspiring things for Chris and I. Working with Paul Nietzsche. I'm not exactly sure how to say his last name, so forgive me, Paul, if you get to listening to this. But he did this kind of brings things full circle, and recently working with Nick Sakes and Dazzling Killman, I hit up Nick one day. I was like, do you have the contact for Paul who did the Face of Collapse artwork for your for your record ages ago? And he did. And we basically reached out to him, and we just had an incredible experience working on that. I think Chris was like really moved by seeing how he worked, and I was too. And that just made it really real, like seeing somebody work really hard on something that nobody knows about and nobody's heard. And we were just like, he didn't know the band. We came as friends of mutual friends. And he's a sweetheart, and he's an incredible artist. And I just am amazed by the artwork. I think he did an absolutely amazing job. He if you ever have the chance, Keith, check him out and give him a follow. 'Cause he has been recently posting all these working through the art, pictures of him, because he took a tintype photo of the cover and everything. He sculpted stuff. It's
wow,
mind blowing. That helped drive the excitement.
Yeah, when somebody is as excited about it as you are, it really makes all the difference. Because with my band now, Mind Over Matter did a pressing of the vinyl along with Iodine Recordings, and just all the care that went into it, and hand making the layouts by hand and hand pressing everything.
That's great.
When I actually saw it, it just makes it even that more exciting for the release. So yeah, it's just great when you have somebody who's as passionate about it as you are.
Yeah, I mean, and then that record coming out, we just I really want. That's the thing. It's and Paul's doing such an excellent job with it too, with Persistent Vision. So it's funny, both Pauls. So I just really want to do I want people to hear that music. I want them to see that art. 'Cause in a lot of ways, Paul, who did the art, this is his first album art he's done in 20 years or something. So it's a long time. He even said something to the effect of thanking you for bringing me out of album art retirement. And he's really proud of the work he's done with it too. So I think it's just been a symbiotic relationship at this point. I think Chris and I want to work with him again, with maybe even Page 99 if we decide to do something. We just love his stuff. I mean, it just really cool. So yeah, that kind of group effort towards the same goal really kind of makes it exciting. And yeah, and here we are, by the time this comes out, the Pygmy Lush record will be out, but it comes out, this coming Friday, which is July 11th. And yeah, I just can't wait for people to hear it, and hopefully people dig it. And it'll be just the big thing for me is it'll be something that is here today and then in the rear view as we get working on newer stuff.
Right. Yeah. So everybody, by the time you hear this, Totem will be out. So listen to it, buy it. I want to see this artwork now. I'm excited about that. And then we have Dark Days, Bright Nights at the end of September. The lineup is always killer. And if you go, you get to see a Sleepy Time Trio reunion. So I can't go because I think I've got something booked that weekend. But listen, if you can go for me, please.
That'd be amazing. We'll take you.
Well, Mike, it's great having you back on the show. I love everything you're involved with, and come back again 2 years from now.
Let's make it a date. We'll do it. Maybe we'll talk about the new Page 99 record by then.
And there you have it, Mike Taylor. Really happy that Mike came back to the show. Tommy, Totem, what a crazy good record. Did you like it?
I love it. Really, really good. It's not what I expected. When you said Page 99 had a new band, I was expecting like kind of, the old like In Love with an Apparition kind of stuff, like heavy, chaotic, I think I saw videos of Page 99 back in the day and I remember being like, how many people are in this band?
There's like 8 or 9 in the band now.
Yeah, I'm like, there's so many people on stage. Like they had to pan left and right to get everybody. It was crazy.
Yeah, but Totem is easily one of my favorite records of the year. Good post-hardcore, DC hardcore, grungy influence. And I'm glad it finally saw the light of day. That was a great story that Mike told about that finally coming to light. And the NPR Tiny Desk concert, Tommy?
That's wild. Like when I think NPR Tiny Desk concert, I'm like, oh, it's like Questlove or like some of that stomp clap stuff from like the early 2000s. But no, that is incredible. I actually have to go check it out now because I did not know they did that.
I told Mike this during the interview too. Whoever is booking the guests over there must have good taste in music because it's like an eclectic group of bands that are all good.
For sure. Like you get the good mix of stuff in there. It's crazy.
Tommy, you're a Page 99 fan, right? You listened to a lot of that stuff back in the day.
100%. Actually, you know what? Old guest that you had on before was the person that got me into Page 99 was Pat Troxel.
Really?
Pat Troxel, the first time I ever met him, he was wearing like a white Hanes t-shirt, like, like this, the one you can kind of see through. And he had just written Page 99 on it in Sharpie. And I was like, what is that? Like, he's like, dude, I have to get you. He got me. I remember he made me like a mixtape and he was like, dude, I got a bunch of stuff on here. It's super good. But like the first 3 or 4 songs was Page 99 stuff. It was awesome.
Yeah. You listened to a lot of that stuff back in the day. And I think Anthony did too. All that classic screamo stuff. I wish that I would have listened to more of that stuff back in the day. Like imagine being able to go see Page 99, City of Caterpillar, Sleepy Time Trio, all those type of bands in the heyday back in the late 90s.
I think the only band that I really got to see of that, like that same genre was I saw Orchid a couple times. And then I think you and I have both seen Neil Perry multiple times. And then the bands that came from that, like The Now and one of the big ones that I actually still listen to a lot. And it was really, Anthony brought me into that was You and I. And You and I was such a huge band and it was great. Like, they played locally all the time and they were just, the energy that they had was unbelievable. And when they stopped playing, I remember being like, wow, that sucks. Those guys are great. And then within, 3 or 4 months, they had a new band called The Assistant and they added a female singer. They added keyboards. It was same style of music, crazy, chaotic, melodic, but it was just a different animal. And I loved all of that stuff. I still, like to this day, when I look through my Spotify list, like it'll come up under like emotive or angry or something like that under that genre. But it was, all of that stuff was just so good.
Yeah, I've actually got Tom from You and I, The Assistant, coming up on the show. He's in a new band called Hundreds of AU. Have you heard of them?
I have not.
They have a new LP coming out. There's 2 singles up. Check it out. If you like that kind of stuff, you'll love Hundreds of AU. But we talked about You and I and The Assistant. And remember The Assistant played in my parents' house? Were you at that show?
Yes. Was that also the one where Torn Apart played?
Yes.
Yes, I was at that show. Because I remember somebody's car got damaged outside and it was a big hubbub. I remember that.
The Blue Skies Fade tour bus. Remember that converted school bus they had?
Yes, it was like the bus they use for like special ed students and stuff like that. But it was like, I forget now. It was white, wasn't it? It wasn't yellow anymore.
It was a different color. It was either white or blue.
Yeah, it wasn't. I was going to say it wasn't a traditional like yellow school bus, but I do remember that. That was awesome.
Well, great conversation with Mike. Mike, thank you so much for coming on the show. And everybody, check out Totem by Pygmy Lush. You will not be disappointed. So, Tommy, you're back. You're back on the show. Are you happy to be here or do you hate it?
No, I'm excited. I always get excited because it's like, when it was every week, it was hard, especially with like, having a family and stuff like that. But now that it gets to be at my leisure, like this is really, really nice.
Yes, I feel the same way. When we both did the show every week, it got stressful. And we know we've played the clips and talked about the fight and all the other stuff that happened. And I think I told you this, for like a year and a half after you left, I would do guest hosts.
Yeah.
Because I guess I was still too afraid to do the show by myself. Yeah. And like, I must have been insane. It's so hard because you're like, you're basically recording one show with the hosts. That would be us back in the day, or the guest host then. And then you're recording the whole other show with the interview subject. And it was so much work. So like, I just prefer it now. Just quickly get the intro and outro done. And then like, now you can come here once a year and we can just have fun and not stress out.
Yeah. I was running out of things to talk about anyway.
Yeah. There was like 3 months where I didn't do a outro to the show because I just ran out of stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
By the way, I need to tell you something. All right. Listen, some things have come to light. And all right. First, Spotify is horrible. The music sounds like shit. I get the promos, right? They send it to me through this system. So I get the full big wave file, FLAC, whatever it is they send to me. I listen to it through my Edifier studio speakers. The volume's up to 30 and it's still pumping and it sounds amazing.
That's awesome.
I then pivot to Spotify to listen to something else. And it sounds like compressed dog shit. Yeah. It sounds awful. I have to jack the volume up to 60 to even like hear what's going on. Not to mention that I think Spotify is donating to like war criminal weapons, AI. I don't know exactly what it is, but some people have told me. And also not to mention just ripping off every artist ever. So Spotify sucks. YouTube rules. You were right, Tommy. And look, you were right about something else. All right. As you know, I'm in a new relationship.
Yeah.
We've been together about 5 months.
Okay.
And for the first time in a long time, I have someone to consider besides myself. So like you, Tommy, I am now constantly trying to find ways to save money. Guess how much we spent eating out in June?
Just June. I'm going with like $13.50.
Exactly.
No way.
Exactly.
Because in my head I was going like $30-$40 a day times 30. Like,
you're a genius. It was exactly $13.50, and I couldn't afford it anymore. I got into a bad rut with food. Like, I just ate out, and I thought takeout was better than stuff you make because I made bad stuff or easy stuff. No. If you make your own food and make it right, it's 20 times better than anything else you're buying out there. But I was sinking. I was starting to sink back into debt. So we figured out a plan with buying groceries, and I'm starting to make food again, which is a miracle. So I slashed that in half, Tommy. So again, you were right. Savings, money savings, bulk purchases at Costco. You were right. So there's something I want to play here for you.
I'm stupid. You're smart. I was wrong. You were right. You're the best. I'm the worst. You're very good looking. I'm not attractive. Right.
Oh, that's so funny.
Sometimes it's hard for me to see a situation unless I'm specifically in it. So when, like, I'm just living by myself, paying for myself, whatever. And then it was kind of hard for me to see where you were coming from sometimes with some of that stuff. What do you think about it?
No, I think it is really hard because it's perspective. Like, there's sometimes I do this. Don't think you're alone on this. I do it constantly where I'll be yelling at students about like, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And I'm like, I'm not 13. Like, I'm not living the life they live. I don't live in the house they live with, with all their siblings or their grandmother or their mom or their dad. Like, I don't know what's going on at home. So it's like, I can get mad at kids because, oh, you didn't turn an assignment in on time or you didn't finish something. It's like perspective of like, I didn't live the situation you lived yesterday or the day before that. So giving people a little bit of grace has been something I've been working on a lot, especially with students, because it's so easy to just fly off the handle. And it's like when you start to realize that other people, what's that Aristotle thing? Be kind to others, for not what battles they fight. Like, because you don't know what they're going through at home. So I appreciate your perspective on that, though. That's cool.
Yeah, it's been a lot of changes. The band is busier than ever. The podcast is busier than ever. My job is busier than ever. The relationship is a new thing and a huge adjustment for me because I spent most of my time alone for a few years, not all of it, but a lot of it. So yeah, it's just been a lot of changes, but good ones. How are you? How's your family? I don't think I've seen you in person since the This Day Forward show.
Yeah, so that's the last time I saw you too, for sure. Everybody's doing great. The twins are starting 6th grade this year. They don't go back for another few weeks, so they're just still on summer mode, vacation mode. Like, yeah, I went downstairs last night. I go to bed pretty early, so I went to bed last night.
How early?
Like last night I was in bed at like 9:30.
Yeah, I range from 9:30 to 11, and I wish I could get back on the go to sleep at midnight, wake up at 8 a.m. schedule, but sometimes I'm out by 9:30, 10:30. I really try to make it to 11 though, because I don't want to get up at like 6:30.
Yeah. So I think the thing is with me, especially with that type of schedule, I in order to be at work on time, even accounting for traffic and stuff like that, I do really need to be up at like 5:50, 6 o'clock. So that makes a lot more sense for me, is like going to bed at like 9:30. But, yeah, I went downstairs. I eat at night. So like I get up in the middle of the night and I usually eat like peanut butter and crackers or something like that. And I always have a big glass of milk. And I went downstairs last night at like a little bit before 11 because I had already fallen asleep, and I got up and I was like, I'm hungry. And I went downstairs and my twins are just sitting at the kitchen table playing Roblox together. I'm like, you guys are just still awake? They're like, we don't have school tomorrow. It's Saturday. I'm like, oh, that's right. Crap. But everybody's doing great. My youngest, Estelle, starts kindergarten. She's going to be going to my wife's school. So she'll see mommy in the hallways while she's walking around. I got a big promotion at work. So
what do you do now?
So it's still the same job. I still will be teaching 7th grade math. And I'll push into one of the 8th grade, the honors 8th grade math class, the one that they do Algebra 1, like Algebra 1 honors in 8th grade. I'll push into that class to help with small groups. But my new thing is so it came with a big raise, but it's called Certified Master Teacher. So it's like a criteria my school made up. And essentially I've met all the benchmarks for like kids testing. So like, 8% of my kids came in on grade level. At the end of the year, they want to see 45% of my kids on grade level. So I've met all of those benchmarks for the past 3 years. So I applied for it last year, and they were like, we need one more year of data. The NJSLA data came out, like the state testing data came out the end of July. So they called me and were like, hey, you're going to get this big raise, but it comes with a bunch of extra responsibilities. So essentially, I get assigned 5 mentees. So people that are either in their first or second year at my school. I do formal observations with them, or informal observations. So I just come in and watch their class for 15, 20 minutes. Kelly's in her 15th year at Neshaminy. Ellie is playing for 2 separate travel soccer teams. Kelly coaches them. So I don't have to worry about getting her back and forth to soccer practice because Kelly will be there coaching the soccer practice. The only thing I do have to worry about now is both Estelle and Evelyn are on the gymnastics team over in Somerton, like right in Northeast Philly. So we have that 3 nights a week. So we're trying to figure out, like, when I start coaching lacrosse in the spring, how we're going to work out between soccer practice, gymnastics, and then me trying to be at lacrosse. It's going to be.
So you're going to coach lacrosse too?
Yeah, I actually.
At your school?
Yeah, so I started this year. So this past spring, starting in like April, we had about 46 kids come out. It's co-ed, so I have both boys and girls. I got a grant partially from Princeton University and partially from a private donor that gave us. Oh,
that's right.
Yeah. Gave us a ton of money to be able to buy the necessary equipment. It's really been super helpful. My school's big push now is, especially with donors, is to show them what this looks like rather than them having to come in and physically see it. They've been producing these like mini documentaries about people at school and putting them out on social media. So we've seen a lot of traction with like people seeing what school really looks like and the work we're doing every day. And they're matching what they see and saying like, hey, like I like this and I want to support this. So the money's been coming in really well. So yeah, started last year with lacrosse. We'll do it again this year. I'll do a winter session in December till like a little bit after Christmas break. And then we'll do like a full spring season where we don't have the ability yet to play other teams. So what essentially we're doing is we're making an A, B, and a C team, and they will play each other.
What's your workout regimen? You look huge.
Push-ups, lots of push-ups. So like 3 days a week, I do the push-ups where I like put my feet up on something. So like I put them up on the couch or one of the ottomans or something like that. And then pull-ups. I have a pull-up bar downstairs that also has the dip thing on it. So that's literally all I've been doing. But all
you do is push-ups and pull-ups?
Push-ups, pull-ups, and dips. Yeah. And then
that's it?
So the other thing I started realizing is the reason I look bigger is because I've been losing weight. A lot of times I didn't really pay attention to my diet because I was like, oh, I'm going to work this. I'll work off this cheesesteak and French fries. I'm going to go bang out 300 push-ups and it doesn't matter how I eat.
How many push-ups will you do in a day?
So literally what I've been doing now is I give myself about 40 minutes at the end of the night after the girls are in bed. And I set a timer for 2.5 minutes. So I'll do as many as I can to failure. And then
how many can you do?
Like right now, I think about roughly 40. Like if I don't have my feet up, probably about 40. If I have my feet up, right around 20, 25.
Because I started working out last year, and here's my current regimen. One day I do body weight, so squats and push-ups. I'll do 100 within like 20 minutes, sets of 20.
Yeah, there you go.
Next day I do weights. I've got 2 30-pound dumbbells, those adjustable ones that we were talking about.
Yes.
So I'll bang out like 40 curls, 40 triceps. I'll go behind to hit the triceps, and then 40 like bench. I'll like lay down and lift them up.
That's awesome.
And then I run a mile twice a week. Sometimes once a week if it's busy, but I run a mile twice a week. And I don't look huge like you, and I've lost some weight. I just look skinnier. Well, I you know what? I do look better because like I've seen some pictures of me live, like memory entry, and I don't look like a frail twig anymore, where I could just like I look kind of solid, and I'm like, yeah, okay.
That's good. Yeah, I think the biggest thing with me is I've been doing it for so long at this point. I think if I really went back and looked at it, probably about 8 years or so, I've been really pretty strict with myself in terms of working out. And then in the last like year or so, I've been really strict with not dieting, but being conscientious of what I eat and when I eat it. I really shouldn't be eating at night, but I don't care. I don't need to have abs. I don't need that. But in my head, I'm going, I think a lot of the times, especially with working out for me, is it's cheaper than therapy. So rather than dealing with my problems, I will just get my aggression or my angst out like that. And then on top of that, right before bed, it really does tire me out. So I'm exhausted. So when I get into bed, I put on an episode of The Simpsons the other night. I don't think I made it past like the first set of commercials where like, Hulu interrupts or the Disney Plus interrupts and tells me I should buy whatever pharmaceutical they're trying to sell me. But, that's been a huge part of it. I've been eating a lot more. I used to skip veggies all the time. I've been eating a lot more veggies. Big one I'm into now is I like okra. So I've been eating like okra with a little bit of butter and salt at dinner time. The girls love it. If I like pan fry it, they love it. So we've been eating a lot of that kind of stuff, eating healthier. And then on top of that, my daughter that does play soccer is so they don't have practice throughout the month of July. They didn't practice at all. But Kelly runs optional conditioning. So they go and meet up at the fields up in Ben Salem, and then they just run. They do sprints. They do calisthenic stuff. They do a lot of stretching just to keep the kids limber and keep them loose and keep them in some type of shape so that when they get back, they just started last week, the beginning of August, with practices. The kids aren't so winded. Their bodies are somewhat acclimated to running, for that hour and 15 minutes, depending how long a game is. Yeah.
It makes a real difference because now I can load band gear in and out of the practice space, in and out of the show, and not feel like I'm going to die. I used to just carry a guitar and a pedal case to practice, and I'd be like, I can't do this anymore. It's too heavy. I'm too tired. But now, now I can get things done.
Yeah. The other thing I will say this, and it's funny you brought this up. The contractors broke my dumbbells.
Wait, how?
They had to move all of my workout stuff. So moving stuff is not that much of an issue. The problem is with those adjustable dumbbells, I think they picked them up and dropped them. And that like when you turn that handle to change the weight, it's literally only connected by a bar that runs through the middle. And then those plastic notches that are on the top and the bottom of the plates. Well, they broke all when they dropped one of them. They broke 90% of the plastic on the one. So
those are expensive too.
That's what I said. And the guy was like, oh, don't worry about it. He's like, when we go to do your final payment, he's like, we're going to figure in anything that was damaged. So he was like, look, he's like, at the end of this, we're all just going to sit down before you make your final payment. We'll do an entire walkthrough where anything that needs to be fixed, you're going to put blue tape on it. We're going to come in and fix it, whether it's paint or caulking, or it seems picky, but at the same time, it's like with the amount of money we're spending on this, like I want this perfect before you guys walk out of here and I give you the last check. So
how much
altogether?
Yeah.
Like $150K.
How did you survive shelling out that amount of money? It must have put you in the hospital.
So the easy part was we planned this. We've been talking about this for about 2.5 years. So I keep an eye on the rates for loans. So one of the things I started doing about 2.5, 3 years ago was looking at the loan rates. And essentially what ended up happening was there was a period of time about 2 years ago where the rates went below it was like 3.2%. So rather than taking a home equity loan, we took what they call a home equity line of credit. So essentially they put $150,000 in my bank account and we've used that line of credit to make the payments as we're going along.
That's not bad.
It's not, but here's the other thing. We needed this desperately. Like this, we didn't realize how much we needed this until we had it. As much as it costs, I'm willing to eat the cost on that to be like, look, this is making life so much easier. And then on top of that, when, in 30 years, when we go to sell the house, the resale value will be much higher than what we had additionally, what we originally had with the home. So there'll be things that are a selling point of like, oh, all the other houses in the neighborhood don't have a master bath, but we do. We have a walk-in closet, but they don't. And the other thing is like when someone's moving, like, when we go to sell, if someone needs an extra bedroom, there's now a fourth bedroom that's a walk-in closet. Now, it doesn't have a bathroom attached to it because it's on the other side of the wall, but if you needed the extra space, it does exist. You just have to sleep in the same room as somebody else.
Final question for you.
What do you got?
Your thoughts on Korn. Now, we've talked about Korn a lot on this show. I was talking about them with Mike during the interview, and my viewpoint on Korn is I like them when they're heavy, but sometimes, like I went back and listened to Life is Peachy, which is a good record, but some of the verses get so quiet, and then like the chorus will kick in and it's heavy. I like them when they're heavy. I like them when they stay heavy. That's why I really like that first album the best. I think I always like that one the best. And I haven't checked in on anything else past Follow the Leader, because that's when around the time I discovered hardcore, so I just ran with that. But I went back and listened to Issues, like I started to, and the second song on that is one of the singles, or is he's like beating me down, you know that song?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's a good song. So I want to go back and listen to more to see where they went and how everything was. What are your thoughts, Tommy, on Korn?
I still think they're amazing. I actually, once in a while, I'll check out that guy. Do you know Garza has that? No. So Garza is the guy. I forget the name of the band he played for, but he runs a podcast where it's they come in studio, much like a regular like sit down talk show, but everybody has a guitar. So it's him just sitting there talking about music. And one of the things he brought up is Life is Peachy. And he was like, look, the guitar tone people don't talk about on this record, but it is absolutely stellar because it's the difference between like there's heavy and then there's like kind of like garbage sounding heavy, like where it gets like too muddled in the mix. And he's like, Life is Peachy found that insane balance between those two where it's just unapologetically just devastating when it comes in. And you don't have the like muddiness that comes along with some of that stuff. Cause there's even things like some of the records like Knock Loose, like where I hear parts and I'm like, it's too heavy. Like the 808 came in and it's like, it gets garbled and it's like, you can't hear everything as clear as you really want to. But he goes off on a whole point of like how he thinks that's one of the best guitar tones ever. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go back and check this out. And I listened to it and I was like, damn, he's right. Like it's an angry, nasty tone, but it doesn't fall into that like muddy, like garbled kind of sound. And it's really like if you guys haven't checked that out, it's a really cool podcast. Because the whole time he just brings on guitar players. Like he brought on the dudes from that slam band Peeling Flesh. And like, he'll be like, hey, that one riff. And they'll just start playing it. It's so neat to see them play. I think that's a great combination of things where I saw that and I was like, dude, I don't think no one's done this before. It's super cool.
It is fascinating to see people actually play the riff because you imagine sometimes something completely different and then you'll see what they're doing and you're like, oh, that's it. I could do that. But yeah, like I know what you're saying about that garbled heavy. Like we're on sub 15 level of Knocked Loose now. So there's so many bands out there that have that. A lot of modern hardcore records have that really processed modern metalcore sound where it's just like this. It's hard to describe, but it's like this tinny, grindy sound, and it just everything sounds like that. And when I hear that, I'm like, I'm out. No thanks. And I don't include Knocked Loose in that. You know, they started this whole thing.
Yeah,
and I like the band and their recordings, but you know, we're on like sub level 15 of it now. So when it's like that processed, like, okay, I know what this is. I'm just out. I'm done.
Yeah. I just looked it up while you were saying that. His name's Chris Garza. He was in the band Suicide Silence. I don't know that's one of those ones where remember we were talking about this the other day. It's like when someone mentions a band and they're like, you know that they're not good. So you just go, I've heard of them, but I haven't heard them. That's Suicide Silence for me. Like I actually legitimately, I don't think I've ever heard that band, but I probably have and went, not for me.
That sounds like mid to late 2000s core. And I was not listening to that kind of stuff at that time.
Yeah, that was like after, like that was the like whole, when it started getting into the deathcore stuff. And it's like,
yeah.
Like, I know you listen to deathcore. I can see your ears, stupid. Like with the goofy plugs, like stop with that. Like,
well, Tommy, it's always great to have you back on the show. And I hope that you come back every year. Because, you know, people still ask for you. People still ask about you. Do you know that?
I did not know that.
It's true.
It makes me think of that meme where do you ever see that one? It's like Japanimation girl, and she's like leaning on the ground like this, and she's whispering into the grass, "We still talk about you." Like it's like
Yes, the people want you still, so we have to get you back here every year for as long as we can.
I love it. Yeah, no, I'll absolutely. I'll, you know me. I'll always make myself available for this stuff, just not on a weekly basis.
Well, everybody, that's it. We're out of time, but I'm back next week with a new episode and a new guest, and I'll see you then.